Frost.
Shua.
Mercer.
Why was that funny? He remembered the order and everything.
No.
You can't bust his balls. All right, so we
Well, no, we had a conversation prior too. So
we're reviewing a movie called JeruZalem.
with a Z.
Now, typically, anybody who's read some of the older posts knows how much I detest like letter substitution. It's fucking ridiculous. It pisses me off. However, I saw another reviewer talk about this movie in a positive light, so I was like, well, let's take a chance, and I definitely have a different spin on it than they did, but we're gonna let Shua talk.
Did they give it pretty? I mean, it wasn't bad, but did they rave about it?
No, they weren't raving. It's similar, but I have different things that pissed me off.
Right.
There's a couple of explanations that I kind of came.
But yeah, but we sat. Yeah. So
we explained
for it being
okay.
letters.
So we
So give us the details.
about this
it.
was written, if memory serves me right, written and directed by the Paz brothers.
Yep.
PAZ.
Yep.
They've done some like.
Nothing really too popular. It's
But like
more
8 to 10 other movies, but they're not anything that we have been like that we have identified with.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and put it that way.
Yep.
Cast isn't really. I'm gonna say they're up and coming because I haven't heard of any
I
of
don't
them.
recognize them.
I think they worked in a couple of Paz movies before.
Yeah,
Possibly.
so they might be pulling from stuff.
Now, was this actually shot on location?
As far as I can tell, and have
That
it
means you
seems
didn't
like
research it.
I did not notice.
Okay, we're gonna say that it was.
But it looked like, according to Assassin's Creed, yes, that was Damascus.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and out on limb and say
with it. So.
right. If it wasn't, they damn sure did a good job.
What about money?
As far as I know, this thing only opened in like 2 or 3.
No, I think it was one. It was like one theater.
Yeah.
From what we were looking at, but we were really drunk.
We still
But I
are.
think it was one. No, I'm not.
Well, from what we saw, I mean, it only pulled over $11,000, but
Yeah, but that was the initial. Yeah, I mean, still.
So that at least covered for the Google glasses that they are the
Google glasses.
The fucking smart.
smart glass that smart glasses that they used in the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
So
but you know,
they broke even on that part. Everything else was kind of
and it was so for a real quick plot synopsis, I guess, and it may sound like I'm just barely scratching the surface, but I'm not. It's about these 2 chicks. They are going to go to Tel Aviv on vacation.
right.
On the plane, they meet a guy, and the guy's like, "You guys should come to Jerusalem with me instead." And he says, "I'll show you a great time." So they go to this place. They meet another guy named Omar, and
He owns the hostel.
45 minutes of the movie is like character development.
Pretty much, because you
With
meet
just a little bit of other stuff going on. Now, what is neat about this flick is that they do show some of the tensions between like Muslims and Jews and stuff like that, which is great.
and they explain the breakdown of the city.
Right,
too,
and
which is
it's
cool.
very tentative. It's
Right.
very and Mercer has a great point on that later, which he found, which we were like, "Holy shit, you're like the man." But my main problem was that the whole thing was shot from the perspective of a person wearing smart glasses, and whereas that's great every now and again, a little bit of shaky cam stuff, a little bit of found footage kind of things. That's pretty decent. But it was really painfully slow. But I don't want to give too much away because I'm not hating on it. It felt like 3 hours went by and only like 90-something minutes did. But
I will say that the aside from 7 doing somewhat the same thing,
yeah,
this opening sequence was fucking awesome.
I didn't mind that.
With the slide projections and the explanations.
Yes, And
that was cool.
You can actually see the hand sliding the microfiche
right,
in like a place.
Because aside from 7 doing it, this is the only time that I've seen that style of
right.
Yeah,
7 was way better.
They did rip a couple of photos that we had recognized from other
right.
movies.
Yes, and other websites because one of the people, I forgot, I
but it was
didn't have time to point
was
out,
great
but I
done, I thought.
Yeah. And what was the one that you saw? What was the name? God, I forgot it. This is the third fucking time. Crop scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a blatant, or maybe he got licensing, but I mean, apparently they got to deal with Facebook and Skype and all them too because they were using their logo everywhere.
Yeah.
But
one
of the neat things was I was like auto pissed about the Z in the name. Mr. Mercer here found out why.
Yeah. So, well, as the movie goes on, I mean, it's basically about every like what was it? Once every year they do this thing where it's a religious thing where in Jerusalem the heavens open up and they have their cleansing. Well, something happens to where we couldn't find out why, and in the movie they're like, we don't know why this happened.
Right.
Instead of the heavens
kind of halfway explained.
Yeah. Instead of the heavens opening up, hell opens up, and all these demons are flying out and coming after people. Well, if a demon attacks a victim and scratches them or bites them, it's a lot like kind of a zombie morph. Right. They become kind of like a demon zombie hybrid.
Which is why we kind of thought that it was like the main.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Which it
kind of leads you to believe.
Yeah. It's kind of like where the Z comes from, but also in the movie when he pointed out, they kind of show the separate parts of Jerusalem and the separate zones of Jerusalem as well. Mm-hmm. And the zone where most of the movie takes place is in the Arabic village of I can't say this properly, so excuse me. It's like Azayam or something like that. I probably just butchered it. Yeah, but I mean, that's where it takes place, which is mainly around Zone Z. And it's like, and Matisyahu even makes references to, he has a song Jerusalem A through Z, and kind of describing zones and stuff like that. I haven't heard the song, but that's where I just showed up. It was like Jerusalem A through Z, and how Jerusalem is zoned out A through Z, and this is pretty much the Z zone from that. So that's another thing that I found out too, because it was bugging him, and I was like, I've got to look this up.
Yeah, I can't handle that shit.
But so you have that on top of the fact that it's like people become demon zombie hybrids, and the fact that it kind of takes place around the Z zone of Jerusalem. So henceforth JeruZalem, with the Z in it. And another thing that they touch on in the movie is one character, he's kind of going crazy a little bit, and they touch on, it's like, this is and they were touring the city, and he goes, and they're like, what's this place? And they're like, oh, this is where they come bring people just in case people that start the Jerusalem syndrome, which is a real thing. Jerusalem syndrome, which is basically someone who has delusions of religious outbursts and stuff, things like that. So Jerusalem syndrome, which I thought was pretty cool. So they hit on that.
It's really cool they included that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and my take on it was because I love anything kind of horror related to like kind of has a horror film that's related to anything religious, really, like demon. That has.
Well, that's where the scariest stuff comes from. Yeah, it really does.
So, like Exorcism of Emily Rose. I agree. Things like
that's
that.
Prophecy.
One thing that I like.
Second War in Heaven. Things like that.
Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
It's like all the Antichrist, like
Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Those movies are, which is why I was on board after I read the IMDb, because the IMDb synopsis of this movie is straight to the point. Like, a group of friends, young adults, go to Jerusalem, and then these biblical disasters start happening. I was like, let's do this.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a well done purgatory flick.
Right. But this one was, I think our biggest harp, and I think we've already said it, I'm going to go ahead and say it again. This movie is slow. It's painfully slow. But it goes to the fact of like the whole smart glasses and like
well,
the character driven.
The whole movie is shot through that.
Right.
And my gripe is when the movie does pick up speed, where we're like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. It's still through the fucking smart.
Right.
glass.
You're still, and at that point, well, I even timed it. You're still at the point where shit starts going down. You're 52 minutes. You're damn near an hour into the movie.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And,
so you're over halfway into the freaking
right.
thing.
And in a rare. Now I know it's because we had companies show up while we were in the middle of this thing, so we ended up pausing the movie. But we ended up going back and watching some other parts,
some key
as well.
parts that we.
Just to kind of just like, okay, I want to make sure I got this right, And there were some parts where we were questioning whether the people that were there were demons or angels. And mainly because an angel is, technically speaking, a pretty horrifying thing when you really think about it in the Bible. That it's not like this
Right.
beautiful thing that comes down. This is an agent of God that is built for war and saving you. I mean, it's like it's scary.
Is this where you started describing the graph to us?
That's when I started bringing that up, because I remember reading this comic book, and they showed the symbol of Aquarius. It's I don't know if it's Aquarius, but it's
The fish symbol.
Yeah, the fish symbol that
Right.
you see a lot of Christians.
It's this, basically.
Right, he's gonna, and well, I remember this comic book talking about how that isn't really a symbol of Christianity or of any, but it was actually a partial map of the universe. And I wish I could remember the comic that did it, but because you know how it's shaped like this. Well, it's actually, if you complete those circles, you get a very basic Venn diagram. And the idea is that one of the spheres is heaven, one of the spheres is hell, and the little part where they overlap, that's Earth. That's our world where we live. And it's sort of, in my brain, I was thinking about how they said, well, on this night, the ground opened up. So there really isn't a line between heaven and hell. But if there is, it's here.
Right.
And I thought that was, in my brain, that's how I justified it. Because you do that in movies. If you see something you don't understand, you go, okay, I gotta wedge it in there. All in all, not a bad flick. Some of the wing CGI kind of pissed me off. Not because it was bad, but if you pop out wings and they look, they're fine, they're stationary doing their thing. But when they're doing this, that kind of bugs me a little bit. But
because the actual demon work
was not bad.
Wasn't bad.
Although one of them looked like
giant
fuckers from I Am Legend, which I instantly wanted to punch.
Like that's another thing. Like they goes on the fact that they kind of picked it. Yeah, I know.
I fucking hate him.
I know, but
I saw it, and I was like, "You fucking Will Smith!" I got mad.
I know, it opened up an old wound.
It did. I would never recover.
But it did, like in the
Okay, war's over, man.
I know, just. But there was that, and then the big giant.
Hey, how do you find Will
thing.
Smith in the snow?
We'll get to that in a moment.
You look for the Fresh Prince.
But that and the like the big giant marshmallow. Well, we call him the marshmallow guy.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The big thing.
That was
Like
cool.
that-
We should have seen him more.
I wish
when
I kind
they
of.
peer out and she zooms in, like, what is that? And it's walking outside.
Yeah.
I wish they would have explained that a little bit more, because that would have been cool. I think that creature would have been a cool character.
Well, they Cloverfield us, dude. We didn't actually get to see it. It was just
They do
Yeah,
Cloverfield you a
one of-
lot in this
I
movie.
think it might have been one of like the officers from hell or something like that, or one of
Abaddon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could have been.
Yeah, could have been that. Could have been.
Throw it to another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, all in all, it's a good movie.
But-
If you've got some time and you care about found footage, shaky cam, purgatory,
Right.
Yeah.
And
foreign, because it is foreign.
Yeah.
Yes, and once we do have to admit, once shit started hitting the fan, we were kind of intent.
Yeah.
We did shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
did. We
It
really
happened.
did.
Yeah. And all in all, I think this is a movie that I would personally own. just because I'm fascinated with like horror and religious stuff too.
Oh, I know.
This goes on to the list of movies I want to own because of the behind the scenes stuff. Like
I really would like to know what was going through their head.
Get more in depth into.
Yeah, I'd like to hear commentary, like behind the scenes stuff, like all that. Like so.
Cool.
Well, cool. I give it. If I had any kind of star rating, I would give it for any muggle out there into horror movies. I would say I would give it 1 star. But if you're a horror fan, I'd give it a solid 3.5.
Yeah.
But if you are specifically, just 5.
Just 5.
But if you're specific, and don't. This is just me. I'm saying if I had a star rating. But if you're into like movies about purgatory and you like shaky cam and you like found footage, then this is right up your fucking alley. Oh, and you have to have patience too. Yeah, it's very important. So, but yeah, I liked it. It was all right.
I thought it was a different perspective because every time you see something like that, someone gets a brand new camera and they want to shoot everything.
Yep.
You know, I thought the Google smart glasses were a different approach to it. I guess it's something different. You know.
Yeah, because nowadays I guess the third person cam, which I can kind of see, but it seems like the first person cam is getting overdone nowadays.
Well, yeah,
but I can get it because
on the same token, though, the smart glasses thing. I mean, the second they became commercially available, there was a porno released of the guy and the girl wearing them. It's like whenever a new technology comes out, someone is going to immediately jump on it,
right?
Which is fine, but when you don't take time to think it through, you have the potential to fuck it up badly.
Royally.
Right.
And they did not fuck it up royally in this.
Right, because it was good with all the like the pop-ups and the ads and everything.
The facial recognition.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it stayed, like as far as that aspect, it stayed pretty damn true to the outgoing, to the software. More or less.
Well,
to the device.
I mean, I don't.
To the device.
I don't have an extra 1,700 bones lying around to check it out myself, but I don't know.
I would imagine this is how the device would react, kind of
to that. Yeah.
Well, there's going to be some glitches, but so Mercer, do you think they did a good job with keeping the religious aspect? Because to me, it felt like the only reason that I was able to hold on to that was because I knew what was going on.
Right.
You know, I don't think that they put enough of the faith bit into it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I feel like they could have went a little heavier, because the heavier you go with that.
That's what I wish they would have explained. Kind of around the time that you instead of heaven opening up, why did hell open up instead?
Right.
You know, that's one we all had a question about, and we went back and tried to find the scenes, like trying to see if they explained it, and they didn't. I mean, there's only one, which our buddy Dutch explained. He was like, because she kind of disrespectfully wrote a prayer and put it into the wall or something.
There's that.
I mean, that's kind of the. I was like, after that, I was like, well, that could be it, just out of disrespect or something. Maybe people just didn't take it seriously, and God was just kind of like, okay.
Right. And that kind of opened up too. The three of us plus everybody else who was in the room kind of got into like not really a dispute, but like we started talking more about religion and this happened in the movie because of this says this, and
we were speculating. We were trying to figure out
as far as the religious aspect goes. If that's what this movie was trying to accomplish, like full-fledged,
it did fine.
It did its purpose.
It did fine.
Like I said, when I see it on the shelves, I'm definitely going to go buy it.
So. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and try to cut this one shorter than normal. I know we went over. We were trying to keep them short so everyone would stick around, but we failed. So, Frost.
Shua.
Mercer.
Look, no, oh man.
I see it.
You saw it. He made the mangina. He didn't realize he did. Looked like fucking moose knuckle. It was ridiculous. Like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle foot. It was like right there. It looked like this, dude. It looked like Nightcrawler's fucking hand. It was ridiculous. Like if I stuffed it in the front of a denim jacket, that's what I saw. I literally saw a baby's ass right there in the front where your dick is supposed to be. In fact, I can still see
designer
it.
jeans.
It's ridiculous. I'm waiting to see a fucking wet spot. Look at it.
I don't want to look at it.
It looks like a mole.
How can you
It looks like a mole in a bag. Not one of those regular moles, the ones that has the face that looks like Cthulhu. Look at it. Look at that. Look, I'm looking right. Yeah, you better cover that shit. I'm looking dead at it. I can see it through your shirt because I have X-ray dick vision. It's ridiculous. Go to your room.